Hello Year 7, welcome to Lesson 8. There's a very scary woman's face on the screen. I know. It's not mine, it's Coraline's other mother. We're going to look at her in a little bit more detail today, but first of all, a few little reminders in case you need them. Don't forget to upload your work onto the assignment on Teams, whether it's a document of Word where you've typed it, whether it's a picture of the work in your exercise book, picture of your work in a notebook, doesn't matter, we want to see what you're doing, okay? Whether it's at the end of the week for some teachers, whether it's after each lesson for Mrs. Kears, that's absolutely fine, okay? I am watching, I am looking, make sure that work gets uploaded, okay? Right, let's rock and roll. Okay, writing comparison, is your title, nice and neatly underlined, and today's date. Pause the video if you need time to do that. So a quick recap, what did we learn last lesson? Okay, we did that double circles. We were looking at Coraline's real mother and Coraline's other mother. Why we were looking at those two mothers? Well, I was wanting you to understand that by showing us Coraline's real mother first, it makes her other mother seem more disturbing. She's a frightening lady. She's got those buns for eyes, she's got those two long fingers, she's got those dark red fingernails that are curved and sharp, yet at the same time, she's ever so nice. She's cooked that roast chicken. She's so lovely to Coraline. We don't really know what to make of her. And by putting Coraline's real mother first, she's not brilliant, is she? She doesn't buy her those gloves that Coraline really wants. She's not very organised with the food. She's got that furry cheese in the fridge. Nobody really wants that for lunch. She doesn't really listen to her. She's a bit busy with her work. So we end up, therefore, comparing the two mothers in her mind, because the writer puts them so closely together in the text. Clever writer Neil Gaiman plays with our minds. So what we're going to do today, we're going to learn how to, and we're going to practice writing and comparison of the two mothers, okay? And then at the end of the lesson, we're going to read the last few pages of chapter 3 as a nice little wind down. Okay, so let's get on with that then. So here you should have this in your exercise book from last lesson. These are the ideas we got about Coraline's real mother and Coraline's other mother. And just to remind you, on one side of the circle here, we have ideas about Coraline's real mother and what she was like. And you wrote those down in your own words. You might have some that are the same as mine. That's absolutely fine. On this side, we have ideas about Coraline's other mother and what she is like. And then in the middle, we have similarities. What are they both like? Okay, so that is there if you need to come back to it on the video later on, okay, because you will need those ideas. You should have them in your exercise book, but in case you think, oh, I didn't really get it down very well, or I want to look at misses, you can always just rewind, old school, the video, okay, and go back to it on here. So if you want to check the time that we've got on the video right now, you know what time to come back to. Okay, what else are we going to look at? Okay, we're also going to be using some quotations. So you can see here we've got the same extracts that we looked at last lesson, and I have got highlighted on here the same bits. So if you need to come back to the screen, you can notice the time here, and we have got the little quotations that match the ideas on our circle. So if you're writing an idea about Coraline's real mother, not really talking to her, not really interested in her, you've got here, her mother ignored her. Okay, so if you notice the time where we are on this screen now, you can bring this up and you can pause it, and you can use this to get your quotations down. Okay. Okay, first question for you then. What words do we use when comparing ideas? Type of words. You know these. See all your answers going up at home. Brilliant, well done. You, tell me what your answer is. What was that? Excellent, brilliant. Connectives. You might have said conjunctions, okay? We'll go with connectives for today. So I want you to write that word down as a little subheading underneath your title, okay? Now we're going to be comparing the mothers. So we're going to find some things that are similar and some things that are different, okay? So first of all, if we're going to look for things that are different about the mothers, I want you to think about, okay, what sort of connectives might I use if I'm going to compare two things that are different? I've got 6 in this box. And if you're thinking, right, I want to do this without a prompt, you can pause the video now and try and come up with your own 6 connectives. If you want a little clue, I'm going to bring up my first connective now in 3, 2, 1. Whereas. All right, that's my clue for you. Okay, so that's the first one. See if you can pause the video now and think of some more connectives that you might use when comparing different things. Okay, what else did you get then? Did you get some same as mine? However, but, on the other hand, although, unlike. You may have got a few different ones. That's absolutely fine. If you want to add any to mine that you didn't get, if you only got one more, you can steal some of mine. That's absolutely fine. Okay, pause the video if you need a little bit of time to get that down. Right, so if we're looking at some things that are similar then, so we're comparing two things that aren't that different, what sort of connectives are we going to use? So if they are similar, if you're thinking, oh, I don't want a prompt, I want to go for it, pause the video now. If you want a little prompt, my first one is coming up in 3, 2, 1. Similarly. Easy to say. Okay, pause the video and see how many more you can get. Right. What did we get then? Likewise. Also. As well as. Equally. In the same way. You might have got different ones. You might have got and. Okay? So if you want to pinch any of mine, if you want to check yours are similar to mine, see what I did there? Okay? Pause the video and make sure you've got some connectives written down in your book in a list like those on there, Year 7. Well done. Good job. Okay, so here we are at the writing section of the lesson. Right, there's your circle. I've put that on the screen as well. The method that we are going to use to write your comparisons is as follows. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to choose an idea from one mother. And I'd probably logically start with Coraline's real mother here. What do I learn about Coraline's real mother? Okay, you're going to choose an idea there. Then you're going to use a quotation. Okay, so you're going to need to go back in the video and find that section with the extracts. Then you're going to explain what it makes you think. What does that make you think about Coraline's mother? Then you're going to use one of your connectives that you've written down in your book. Then you're going to go to the other mother. Right. However, the other mother's like this. Use a quotation and explain what it makes you think. Okay, like this. Coraline's real mother doesn't really talk to her. Her mother ignored her. This makes me think she's not really interested in Coraline or spending time with her. However, Coraline's other mother gives her lots of attention. Is that you? Lunchtime, Coraline. This makes me think she is nicer than her real mother or that she could be trying to get on her side and make friends with her. Okay, so I want you, Year 7, to try and write a comparison comparing Coraline's real mother using some of these ideas here with a quotation, comparing it to some of these ideas here. Okay, and for each one, use these 7 ideas here. And this is my example here. Okay, so you can see what it should look like. You don't need to put the numbers down the side, but you can if you want, if it helps you. That's absolutely fine. Ideally, I'd love you to write 2. If you think you can just manage 1, then that's okay. If you really, really want a challenge and you're up for it, can you write how they are similar? That is the really difficult one. Saying how they're different is much easier, okay? But the similar one is different, okay? Now this should take you between 10 and 20 minutes, okay, to write 1 or 2 comparisons. So you're going to need to pause the video and you're going to need to go back to use the bits with the extracts and the highlighted bits of text to find your evidence. Okay, so use this list 1 to 7, idea from one mother, go find a quote. What does it make you think? You're going to need to think about this bit yourself. What does it make you think about Coraline's mother? How does it make you feel about her? Use a connective from your list. Go to your other mother. What's your idea? Find a quotation. And what does it make you think about her? Okay. If you can write 1, great. If you can write 2, fantastic. Okay, and your proper big challenge, rock hard, can you write about how they are similar? Okay, right, pause the video and off you go. Well done. Hope you managed. Hope you got on okay. If you want to just read through your paragraphs and have a look at how it matches mine. If you did a challenge, if you did a similar one, this is one that I wrote. Okay, so let's have a look at my similar paragraph. Coraline's real mother doesn't buy her nice things. Her mother refused to get them for her. This makes me think she's mean and won't buy her what she wants. Also, Coraline's other mother is described in a frightening way, with dark red fingernails which are curved and sharp, which also makes me think she could be mean and cruel. So there's your challenge. There's your really high level paragraph. Try not to give any spoilers out. Okay, Year 7. Well done. Make sure you upload some evidence of your paragraphs and let's move on and let's read the rest of chapter 3. She took some more chicken. I didn't know I had another mother, said Coraline cautiously. Of course you do. Everyone does, said the other mother, her black button eyes gleaming. After lunch, I thought you might like to play in your room with the rats. The rats? From upstairs. Coraline had never seen a rat, except on television. She was quite looking forward to it. This was turning out to be a very interesting day after all. After lunch, her other parents did the washing up, and Coraline went down the hall to her other bedroom. It was different from her bedroom at home. For a start, it was painted in an off-putting shade of green and a peculiar shade of pink. Coraline decided that she wouldn't want to have to sleep in there, but that the colour scheme was an awful lot more interesting than the one in her own bedroom. There were all sorts of remarkable things in there she'd never seen before. Wind-up angels that fluttered around the bedroom like startled sparrows, books with pictures that writhed and crawled and shimmered, little dinosaur skulls that chattered their teeth as she passed, a whole toy box filled with wonderful toys. This is more like it, thought Coraline. She looked out the window. Outside, the view was the same one she saw from her own bedroom. trees, fields, and beyond them on the horizon, distant purple hills. Something black scurried across the floor and vanished under the bed. Coraline got down on her knees and looked under the bed. 50 little red eyes stared back at her. "Hello," said Coraline. "Are you the rats?" They came out from under the bed, blinking their eyes in the light. They had short, soot black fur, little red eyes, pink paws like tiny hands, and pink hairless tails like long smooth worms. "Can you talk?" she asked. The largest, blackest of the rats shook its head. It had an unpleasant sort of smile, Coraline thought. "Well," asked Coraline, "what do you do?" The rats formed a circle. They began to climb on top of each other, carefully but swiftly, until they had formed a pyramid with the largest rat at the top. The rats began to sing in high, whispery voices. "We have teeth, we have tails, we have tails, we have eyes. We were here before you fell. You will be here when we rise." It wasn't a pretty song. Coraline was sure she'd heard it before, or something like it, although she was unable to remember exactly where. Then the pyramid fell apart and the rats scampered fast and black towards the door. The other crazy man upstairs was standing in the doorway, holding a tall black hat in his hands. The rats scampered up to him, burrowing into his pockets, into his shirt, up his trouser legs, down his neck. The largest rat climbed onto the old man's shoulders, swung up on the long grey moustache, past the big black button eyes, and onto the top of the man's head. In seconds, the only evidence that the rats were there at all were the restless lumps under the man's clothes, forever sliding from place to place across him, and there was still the largest rat who stared down with glittering red eyes at Coraline from the man's head. The old man put his hat on, and the last rat was gone. "Hello, Coraline," said the old man upstairs. "I heard you were here. It is time for the rats to have their dinner, but you can come up with me if you like and watch them feed." There was something hungry in the old man's button eyes that made Coraline feel uncomfortable. "No, thank you," she said. "I'm going outside to explore." The old man nodded, very slowly. Coraline could hear the rats whispering to each other, although she couldn't tell what they were saying. She was not certain that she wanted to know what they were saying. Her other parents stood in the kitchen doorway as she walked down the corridor, smiling identical smiles and waving slowly. "Have a nice time outside," said her other mother. "We'll just wait here for you to come back," said her other father. When Coraline got to the front door, she turned back and looked at them. They were still watching her and waving and smiling. Coraline walked outside and down the steps. Excellent. Well done for your hard work, Year 7. It's a very challenging lesson you've done today and last lesson. So well done for your hard work, and I will see you next lesson. Over and out.